This is another tutorial for a gold farm. This one has autocrafters in it to make shulkers for storage and also shulker loaders. So I'm basically turning the gold ingots, gold nuggets into gold blocks and then storing them in shulkers, and also the rotten flesh if you want to collect it as well. All you need to do is find yourself, as you can see, a bit of land, flat, 24. It's 24 basically down one side from border to border, and 20 blocks the other way, border to border. That's including the edge. As you can see in the center, there's also a 2 block line that's a bit deeper for allow for water flow. It's 8 blocks in, so water flow, if you've done enough redstone stuff and farms, you know the water flows 8 blocks. So it's 8 blocks in every direction to each drop where the water is. So it's 8 blocks going this way, 8 blocks the other way, and 8 blocks along the center to the middle. The 4x4 holes are for where the trident killers, one at each end. What I'll do is this line down the middle basically goes down about 3 or 4. I think I've done it 4 extra blocks from what the end will end up, and the whole border take it down about 4 blocks as well. I'll speed this up a bit, do a time lapse, and I'll come back in a second with some more audio. I'm actually doing the audio over the top because I didn't realise I had something running in the background and I recorded the original. So I'll come back in a minute. Okay, so once that bit's done, you just need to come in 8 blocks from each end, put 4 blocks in the center of this, break out the blocks on the side, and put water buckets in just to create the water flow. This centerpiece is 4 blocks deep in total to the bottom. It's 3 blocks in, well, obviously 3 once you put this bit in the middle here, but it's 4 blocks total deep. Okay, so basically once you put the water flow in, you just need to replace these blocks so that the water flow runs properly. It'll stop right on the edge of this as long as you've counted everything correctly. And remember, water flow's 8 blocks, so as long as you've put the water flow, these runs 8 blocks wide, it will basically stop right at the edge. There won't be any problem. Right, so once all that's done, the border, this whole thing here is 4 blocks deep. 3 blocks on the edges with 1 block being the floor, so you just need to dig it down to 4 blocks and replace the floor with whatever block you want. I mean, it doesn't matter if you leave it as dirt or whatever, it's totally up to you. It's just depending on what you want it to actually look like. I have left the farm edge level with the ground, so at night time other mobs will spawn and drop into this thing. You can build this up in the air, dig it into the ground, whatever you want, doesn't really matter. I prefer just to keep everything hidden underground. It's not so ugly to look at. You can actually cover the whole thing, or even put the portals in ground. Doesn't matter. It just means more digging. Okay, so the next point, you need to figure out which way your portals go. So in a second you'll see I go back up and make a portal. So all you need to do is face the portal the same direction that the portals will be facing, so you know which side the pigmen are going to come out. Yeah, so basically this is me doing it now. Right, and then it's just a matter of lighting that, breaking it, lighting it, and repeating that process until you see a pigment drop out. The bigger you do this portal, the quicker it will actually work. But you saw it dropped out this side, so no problem there anyway. Just going to keep doing this for a bit more. Right, I just want to make sure 100% that's definitely the right side. Oh, there you go. So there's another one. So work that out. Just break that portal. Then you need to make the full size one that goes right across the farm. Portal sizes, I forget the exact dimensions, but it's around 22 blocks, I think, is the maximum. That's the inside of the portal, from what I remember. I haven't bothered looking that spec up, but it's roughly 20 by 20 is what I'd probably go, just to be on the safe side. You can make it and then light it, and if it doesn't light, just go a block less. Is what I sometimes do, depending. But this one's actually a little bit smaller than you can go. You can go a little bit bigger than this. I think this was about 17 high, roughly, and it's a full width, so that's the shorter side, I think. So it's 20 blocks wide and 17 high. I think, I'm just trying to remember if that's what side that is. I've got it written down there, but I can't quite read it. But anyway, this is a little redstone bit with you need an ice bucket, snow bucket, I should say. What do we need here? Dispenser? No, sorry. Dispenser, an ice bucket, a couple of repeaters, and some redstone and a block on an observer as well. So the observer goes over the top. You'll see. So you put the dispenser facing this way. Put a snow bucket inside. Powdered snow. Basically, put the observer on top. A block behind. A bit of redstone dust on top of that block once it's placed. Then 2 repeaters, one facing out, one facing in. Don't need to do anything with them. Bit of redstone dust, and that's pretty much it. It's about as simple as it gets for. And then if you light the portal, which you'll see I'll do in a minute, it should automatically, instantly break it again. So it places the snow. It's about the quickest way. If you use water flows, it always messes up everything and the pigment gets stuck in it. So best thing to do is a snow bucket. That's basically the bit that breaks the portal. You don't need to do any more with that. That's exactly how it stays. Should not really have too much problem with that. If you do, you can actually put a button on the back of it, so you can press the button to reset it. Now this is the lava flow part at the top. I don't really count this out. I just roughly do it. So I'd normally go about 5 to 6 blocks out. Allow about 5 observers to go along there that activate the lava. You'll see that in a minute. So it's 3 high, 3 wide, 5 or 6 long. Doesn't matter. Just whatever you want, really. If you're doing it in survival mode, you'd probably obviously need scaffolding or build something underneath like I have there, so you can walk along it. That's where you place your observers along. They all need to be facing each other, so you just put one after the other down here until you get to the end. You don't need to do the last block, there's no point. So you just leave a gap, fill that, and then you need to put a block underneath, so you can put one facing out. That's the one that activates the whole thing. You can fill in the top one, leave that gap, don't fill that or it won't be able to push that up. You'll see in a second what I mean. And I've got a bit carried away here, putting too many blocks in. So the basics are, you'll see in a minute what I mean. You've got to put a piston underneath, and you can't get to it on the right angle without breaking a block to get down there. So again, if you're doing this in survival mode, you need scaffolding. You can't really do it without. It's the easiest way to do it, or climb up on blocks, but scaffolding's far quicker. So sticky piston, you need to get underneath and point a sticky piston up. Then you can fill in the rest of that gap. It doesn't really matter. These other blocks can be broken out. They don't need to be there anymore. You need a redstone torch on the back. Oh, this is the piston that stops the portal from relighting. So yeah, stick that in as well. And a redstone torch to activate that, which goes underneath on this piston in a second. Let me see, am I doing that? Yep. So put a redstone torch on that piston. That'll activate the top one. When you activate the bottom piston, it'll deactivate the top piston, basically. So in a second, I'll just there we go. So there's a block there and a block out from it, and just make a line along. You see what that's for later. A block there. The rest of these holes and that can all be filled in, and then if you place a redstone torch behind that, it'll reverse these pistons basically. You can again, I'm just filling all this in just to make it all neat so you don't really see too much of the redstone. If you put that there, you'll see that that piston's retracted and the other one's gone up, and vice versa. And then all these all the observers should be flicking away to trigger the lava when it goes in, and you can see that's pulsing. So that's pretty much that circuit. Fill that in, and then the next stage I think is the you need some trapdoors, which I've actually already got in my inventory, which I realised afterwards. So trapdoors along the front need to be facing the front edge so you can lift them so they go right to the very edge of where the portal is. Then you need a lava bucket, and you put lava above each one of the observers and just run that along. You don't have to do each one, but I find it easier just to do the whole lot. It works, it's a bit more efficient. Right, now that's done, that's pretty much it. You just test it, make sure it's all around the right way. And see, that's working fine. A few pigmen dropping out there, just break that. Yeah, so that's the first portal. So basically you just got to copy that as many times as it fits along. It actually fits along 5 times on this dimension. So by 24 by 20, if you do it exactly the same as this, you can put 5 portals along there, and you just duplicate that thing all the way along. So that's that. I will get a structure block. I'll be back in a minute. I'll time-lapse this next bit. There's no point in sitting through that. And I'll copy this to the next 4. Right, so the next stage is basically quickly as redstone line. So you need to reverse some of these, fill in the gaps, and reverse some of the repeaters. So these repeaters would remain the same way. I need to just figure out where it's going down. So roughly here. Leave that repeater as it's facing, break those blocks out, join these gaps, put redstone lines in, and this is just the on-off for both sides. And then we need to reverse this one, fill this gap, and put redstone lines the other way as well. Now where I've left that gap will be where the torches will go up. So there'll be a redstone torch going there. Once it goes in, the whole lot will activate. So Just got to make sure we don't leave that running too long. So break that out, put a torch on to cancel that top one, and then a line has to be taken all the way down the bottom. It was, I think I was trying to put a secondary torch in there to stop it, but it wouldn't have worked. So basically you just need to take this all the way down to whatever depth you need it. I don't know how many blocks I went down, to be honest. I mean, it's totally up to you how far down you dig this. I think I went about 10 roughly below. So once you're down here, you just basically run a line of torches up. So break every second block. Don't put one there for now so that it doesn't activate all the every time you place one, it'll start reactivating all the portals, which you don't really want when you're building it, especially if you're in your survival mode, because you'll get down the bottom and get killed by all the pigmen. So yeah, just break every second block all the way down to the bottom and run redstone torches all the way up. This is me just trying to work out how far down to go. Right, so just run a redstone line in, and then I've just got to figure out which torch will turn it on or off. So if I was to place that one, the whole thing would turn on. So yeah, so I've got to go down and put one more down the bottom. Okay, so I went another layer lower, put one torch in there, and then I can put the one back up at the top, and that pretty much is that done. So everything up the top's already done. It's just a matter of clearing out the area down below. It's kind of, I'm just playing it by ear. There's no real dimensions or anything that I've got set for underneath here. But first thing you got to do is find the center. It should be roughly about where I am. I think I found this pretty easily because you can see the shadow from the pigment all standing in there. So yeah, that's that side. Right, so the next stage is basically to clear out an area. So this is just a trident killer part of the farm. Most people are probably familiar with trident killers, so I don't really need to go run through this too much, but wherever you see me later on replace the redstone torches or use the copper bulbs in place of redstone torches, just ignore that. Use the redstone torches because the copper bulbs for whatever reason don't work properly. I have made trident killers with the copper bulbs before on a guardian farm and various other farms, and they've been fine, but for whatever reason, I don't know if it's to do with an update or what, but they just don't seem to work on this. They seem to stop, unless it's to do with chunk alignment or something like that. It might have been something to do with that, but yeah, just stick with the redstone torches. They're pretty reliable. You can, I mean, there's many ways to do the trident killers. You've probably got your own preference if you've been doing redstone a bit. But yeah, so anyway, I'll leave this run. The only other thing is there's a redstone line that goes between the two trident killers at each end. So that's for the on-off, so it turns on and off both trident killers at the same time. Other than that, pretty straightforward. It changes a little bit once I get down to clearing the area out for doing the storage chests underneath. But I'll stop when I get to that stage. Alright, back again soon. Okay, so I've basically, what I've done is I've dug out all that area underneath where the trident killers were. Um, so the trident killers are done, basically dug out a big area for all the storage chests. Then you just need to place 4 storage chests pretty much in line with where the 4x4 hole is in the center. And do this chest, this arrangement with the hoppers, where there's one going in the side of each of the chests, one going in the top, and then you place another hopper on top of those that actually goes into the one which is on the top. What that does is allow more items to filter through. On top of that, I do rails and a couple of hopper mine carts, the typical thing where they spin around. There's again various ways to do this. You can use single hopper mine carts underneath. There's lots of ways to do it, but that's, I find, the most efficient way to get the items out of the trident killer as quick as possible. I never really have any build up apart from items which go off center. Working out where to put this can be a bit of a pain, but basically everything gets aligned underneath the center 4. So basically where the piglins drop down, you need to be putting the chest to each side of that, and the hoppers underneath, mine carts, rails, etc. are in line with all that as well. So basically just follow this part. The next stage is the sorter, I think. Just working out where to put everything. It's a bit tricky trying to work out a plan. You can put everything where you want basically in these, but all this is really is a sorter system. And then what have we got after that? I've got some auto crafters, which you'll see as well. They basically turn everything to blocks rather than having to manually do it yourself, so that makes things a bit quicker and easier. Right, so that's basically both ends of the primary sort of storage part. Now I've got to clear up more of an area, so I'm assuming I'll be doing that now, so I'll time lapse that as well, and I'll be back when it's all cleared out. Basically this part here, I've basically cleared enough area for all the sorters that are going to go in. So pretty much here, I mean, you can do this any way you want. This is pretty much the way I did it. So you need, I think it's 3 sorters each side. You need one for the ingots, one for the nuggets, gold nuggets, and I also collect the rotten flesh. You don't have to, so you can skip that part if you want, which means you don't need to build the shulker loader, because I automatically put all the rotten flesh into shulkers so I can trade it with villagers. But this is just me working out where the sorter needs to go. So it's just a line of hoppers. Sorters are pretty straightforward. I just use the old traditional method. You can compact it a bit by using a different sorter, which uses glass blocks and a couple of other bits. I haven't done that in this. I've just used the traditional sorter that I've always used. So basically I'm just duplicating both sides at this stage, and then making the actual sorters. So I'll just let this run through. I'll come back to you when I've done that. So just follow this step by step. All it is hoppers, comparators, some repeaters, a bit of redstone dust, and some chests, redstone torches. That's pretty much it for the sorters. And then after that is I duplicate that to the other end for the other side, and then also there's a waste area. So all the other stuff, all the other items like the golden swords, all that sort of stuff, just goes straight into lava. So it goes to the end of the run, goes into a dispenser or dropper. I think it's a dropper, and then into lava. So you'll see all that as well. So I'll let this run through. If there's anything that I think I need to explain, I'll come back. But otherwise, I'll just let this run through. Cheers. This is where I put on the rubbish disposal system. So this is just a dropper that spits all the stuff out into lava. It's just going to have a comparator checking to see when it's got items in it, a piston that pushes a basically an observer underneath another one to create a pulse. It works fairly well. Basically anything that ends up in there gets just spat into lava. So there's one of those that goes at each end. So I'll let the video roll through when I'm doing that part, and I'll come back to you soon. So that's most of the rubbish system sorted. So I don't know if I put the lava on there. I wasn't checking the video, but there's a lava to go in there if it's not, and then it just gets all sort of sealed away so you can't see it. The next part is sorting out the sorter system. Pretty sure. So with the sorter, most people are probably, if you're looking at this phone, you're probably aware of how the sorters work. But basically, any block with a different name so that nothing can ever go through the system and upset it. And I keep my sorters, as you saw, separated so that they can't interfere with each other. So even if they get over full, they're not going to break the system. Now, I'm just seeing what so I'm about to rename the blocks by the look of it. So you put down an anvil, rename the blocks to whatever you want. In this case, I don't want to use cobblestone for my sorters because it's cheap and easy to get. Name it anything you want, doesn't, just as long as it's not cobblestone, basically. And that will prevent any other block from going through the system, including cobblestone. It'll ignore that as well. So basically you just put 4 of these in every one. So every single hopper, top and bottom, 4 of those. There are other sorters that you can do as well, different versions which use 41 compared to the 18 that my one uses. You'll see later when I do the items in each one. So just basically 4 and 4 of the sorter blocks. If you've done anything wrong, then those sorter blocks will disappear. Like if you haven't put the torch underneath to lock the hopper, it doesn't matter what order you put these in because they're not going anywhere. You just put them in any order you want because the bottom hopper's locked. Right, so I forgot one there by the look of it. So just do that, keep going through. Takes a little bit. I'll just so each one of these in the bottom hopper you put one item of whatever item you're trying to sort. In the top one you put 18 or more. Doesn't matter too much, it'll just filter through until it drops back down to its number. So if you put a stack of 64, it'll just filter out everything and put it through to the bottom chest until it gets down to 18. So what we need is gold blocks, gold nuggets, and rotten flesh, basically, is what we're sorting. So 3 each side, 3 sorters each side, I should say, and then the chests above basically link straight in. So each side of the trident killer has a set of sorters, basically, just to keep it at speed. For some reason in this one I've got 4. It might have been for string or something like that. I'm not sure why I did the 4th one. Yeah, only really need 3. I think I've put the other one so I can put like gunpowder or string or something like that. I can't quite remember. But it was a while ago when I made this video. I'm just doing, like I said, I'm just doing the audio now. So the first one, I'm going with the gold. What are we doing? Yeah, gold ingots. So 1 in the bottom of these 2 center ones, and then the remainder in the top. So I'll probably just halve this and dump it in, and that'll filter through. Same thing with this. This is the golden nugget, so 1 in the bottom. Half of that stack goes in the top. And that'll filter, like I said, filter through until it gets down to 18. Same thing, 1 in there. The remainder in the top. And then I'm rotten flesh for the next one. So that's pretty much the sorters. Not sure what I put in this last one. can't quite remember. It was either string or gunpowder, I suppose, because like I said, the top of this farm, pretty much anything can wander in. So at night time, sometimes creepers wander in, or random zombies or whatever. So it's probably the gunpowder. So I normally try and collect all the gunpowder from the creepers that wander into it as well. Gives a bit of free gunpowder every now and then, depending on what sort of biome you've built the farm in. And you could also put a creeper farm above it, where they all drop into the same killer as well, if you wanted to. Right, so basically same thing, gunpowder and the remainder in the top. I think I just left these chests from memory because I'm not doing anything with them. I just left them there collecting. So after that's done, I've basically got to duplicate that whole system to the other end. I think I do that now, so that'll be with a structure block. There's no point in me rebuilding it in the tutorial. So yeah, this is me just trying to work out where to put a structure block. Bear with me. I know, it's me just doing a bit of decorating. Couple more minutes and the structure block should go on, and you'll see me copying it to the other side. There we go, doing it now. So just working out which way it goes. So that's quite critical when you're using structure blocks. It makes it much easier if you put it on the right side. You don't have to mess around with it quite as much. That's if you're doing this in Creative World. If not, then just, obviously you need to manually build it all. Just pretty much duplicate the same thing on the opposite side. So now I've just got to work out the dimensions and how far it's going. Alright, I'll leave it at that. I'll come back once I've copied that through. You should be able to follow the steps that I'm doing there. part done. So now it's starting to do the autocrafters. So basically I've just got to work out the lines of hoppers to the autocrafter, and then a method of making those work. I actually changed the design of the autocrafter after this, so you can see this for the initial sort of design, but then later on I break a few blocks and change a few things around because I got a bit of the redstone crossed over, and also it was pulsing too many times and creating the wrong blocks from the autocrafter, so you got to watch that as well, making sure that you only pulse once. If you use, I think I used an observer, so when you use the observer it pulses twice, and then you end up with a gold ingot and also 9 gold nuggets because of how it works. You'll see that later, but basically just follow this part. So make sure you put the autocrafter facing the exact same way that I put them, or it won't work, because the face of it with the, looks like it's got little teeth on it, that's the side that it pops the items out. So if you do them the wrong way, so if I face it up, it needs to go up. If it goes out that way, it needs to go out the same way, otherwise they won't work. They'll just end up spitting items to nowhere, or not at all. So just follow this. I don't really need to explain too much. It's just placing autocrafters, hoppers, a little bit of redstone, not too much to it. So so these two chests in the center there are the two that have got the gold ingots. The next two out are the two that have got the gold nuggets. And I've just got the first one, this one here will create gold blocks. Then I need to feed the gold nuggets basically underneath, create gold ingots, and then they get fed up into that same system to create gold blocks. So it's a sort of double autocrafter, and then that goes into a collection chest, so that the only thing you need to worry about is getting the gold blocks, rather than having to to craft all the ingots and nuggets and everything into gold blocks. So you'll see how it all works in a minute, but like I said, there's a bit later on where I actually change the setup. You don't have to put items in this. You can actually just blank out all the spots, gives the same effect. So in this one I actually just loaded it with gold, and that gives you this is basically a lock, so that won't activate until the signal is the same. So until that's loaded with 9 items, it won't actually activate. So I think I'm just demonstrating it. So you'll see when I get it to 9, as soon as I do 9, it activates and it'll spit out a gold block. That's only once the redstone is completed. So that's pretty much that. I'll leave this video run through and I'll come back soon. So I've pretty much completed the autocrafters. Hopefully you followed all that okay. So now it's just a matter of copying that to the other end as well, to put that down the other end. Bear in mind that this gets changed again later, because I actually realised that I messed a couple of things up. I didn't get the timings quite right, so I swapped it out for I think just standard redstone rather than the observers. So you'll see that later on. So basically what I'm doing now is just copying this to the other end. Takes a couple of minutes to get it all sorted and then placing it. So I'll leave that run through and I'll come back in a second. So about this point is where more room. Try and work out how to put the shulker box loader in. So I've got another tutorial on how to build that specifically, so I won't really run through that. I'll just let this video run. It's pretty straightforward. It's a stackable shulker loader, but I just put it in here just to load the rotten flesh into shulkers so that I can then take that away and trade it with my villagers. Not in this particular world, but in others is exactly the same way that I've done this. My design for the redstone is slightly different, but the shulker loader is the same. Right, I'll leave this run through. It'll take a few minutes. You can skip through it if you know how to do the loader, or if you're not going to do the rotten flesh, you can skip this whole section. There's no point in watching it. because there's no point in making the shulker loader for the, or you can make the shulker loader for the gold blocks if you wanted to. You just feed them all into this, and then you just need to come and collect shulkers out of a chest when you need gold. Entirely up to you, but yeah, I'll just let this run through, come back in a bit. This will probably take a little while because there's a bit in it. Okay, so this is taking quite a while to do this video, but getting close to the end. This redstone is basically the one that starts the portals up top, and that one there is the one that starts and stops the trident killers. So the only things left to do really is to put tridents in, which you're best to use. I normally find a trident, put in mending, repair it, and then try and get impaling 5 if you can, and also put a water bucket. The best way to do a water bucket is actually to put a set of stairs underneath one of the pistons, and then waterlog the stairs. Just make sure you don't have anything. Make sure it's 2 blocks deep, otherwise you'll end up flooding your area. So just keep that in mind. But impaling doesn't work unless you've got water, basically. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Throw those in. I don't think I've done the water up top yet. I can't remember, but you'll see that shortly if I haven't. And if you get some random nuggets going through the system rather than gold blocks, it's because I haven't explained how to do the redstone part down below with the auto crafters properly. When I did the auto crafters, I didn't quite do that properly, but I didn't spend enough time looking at the video to find out if I corrected it or not. So if that's wrong, I can do another quick video with an update. Just let me know if that doesn't work correctly. This, I think I just waterlogged the piston, I think, from memory, but it's better to have a set of stairs underneath one of the one of the observers. Take that out, the block under the observer, put a set of stairs, and then waterlog the stairs, so then the water is always there. It's a better way to do it, and have it so it sort of faces away from or pushes towards the exit. So the in our servers, I have a teleport XP orbs to players, because otherwise it causes a bit of lag in the server. So if the XP doesn't roll out of the water killers properly, the trident killers, then you know, with problems with the servers lagging and things like that, or you can do. So that's basically it started. You need to get the trident killers working, which is just flicking this other lever on the other side. That's that. It'll start working. Well, in this case it didn't. Oh, this is where I change out this is where I found out those, what I put in was the copper bulbs. So I think this is where I swapped them out, because I realised they weren't working. So they pulse around and then it just wouldn't work. I don't know why. I've done them with them before and they've been fine. So it takes me a little bit to work that out, and I go and swap out all those, and then we've got a working farm basically. So yeah, so there's the copper bulb. So yeah, so it's just me trying to work all that out. Yeah, so it just goes around once and then stops. So I'm pretty sure I swapped all these out for the redstone torches. Actually, there's more video as well after this. I thought this was near the end, but it's not quite. There's another whole section to add on. So this is just me doing the initial testing and then working out what's wrong. So I'll let this go through. You'll see me swap out these redstone bulbs for the torches once I figure it out. I'll come back after that. Actually, this is where I realised that the autocrafters weren't working right, so I came in and destroyed everything around the autocrafters. So just take it back to as you see here, and then I've just come up, just sort of working out another way of doing it. So basically what I need is a single pulse rather than multiples, because what it was doing was putting out the initial item and then spitting out whatever it had in the autocraft would just produce whatever. So I'd end up with 9 ingots, nuggets again rather than a gold ingot. And it looks like I'm also feeding all these into a shulker loader as well, rather than having individual chests. And other ones that I've just done an individual chest rather than having another shulker loader. That I didn't see the point. Right, so all I'm trying to do is work out a way to get this to work. So that's a redstone torch underneath that, and then I must be putting an observer just out from that, and then redstone down. So that would have to have a repeater over the top. Glass block. Okay, that works as well. Glass blocks don't pass redstone signals through, whereas I've put a solid block there, it would create a redstone loop. Just keep that in mind, so there has to be a glass block. Down here I need to keep a bit of separation so the redstone doesn't mess with each other, so I think I put 2 hoppers out. This is also me testing it to make sure it's working. So here I think I go to, I'm not sure what I'm doing at the moment, I must be just testing it to make sure it does work. So I should, if this is working correctly, I should end up with, you can see there I'm trying to explain that if I have one of those ingots in there, it would basically create 9 nuggets, and then it fills up the autoloader with nuggets instead of the gold blocks. So basically, if I think I just show this how it works. So if I was to fill that up and then put another one in, that's 1 gold block goes through. Yeah, so if you had 2 gold blocks, gold ingots in the first one, and it double pulsed, then you'd end up with the gold block going out, and also 9 nuggets as well. So that's what I was just trying to avoid. Yes, I've gone 2 out with this to avoid the redstone from locking the hoppers, and also activating the wrong things. So you just got to be wary of that. And then the autocrafter will go 2 blocks out and facing up. And then let me see, did I go? Yeah, so let me see, it would probably be a dispenser. It would have to go under there as well. Or dropper. So I got autocrafter, a dropper. Yep. So this is the one that crafts the gold nuggets into ingots. So I just got to feed that into here, and then feed that other one from the other side into the same. That's that, and then set up the redstone so it pulses a single time rather than multiples. So basically the same thing, it's just down lower. So it'll be a redstone torch. So redstone torch that's active, the one to deactivate it. In here. So 2 blocks back, a redstone torch on that to deactivate the first one, 2 blocks on top. Once I get there, that needs to be a glass block again. So it's basically a repeat of what I did earlier. Glass block, redstone, and then a comparator, just checking the signal coming into that. Because you're sending a signal to that repeater, the autocrafter, it actually passes it on to the dropper, so that'll actually forward that signal up, pass the items up into the above hopper. This is just the one to check the signal strength to make sure that the autocraft is full. So that would need either items, or you just lock out all those, lock out all the squares, basically, the grid. So that's that. That gives the full signal. And then if I put, I must be going to demonstrate if this works, or check to see if it works in a second. So I probably load it up. So at the moment there's nothing in there. If I was to put, what do I do? Yep. So I put 9 in there. It goes through. It's feeding in, activates, passes it up. It's gone past there. It's out of there. 1 gold nugget. And then basically that's pretty much it. And I have to repeat that on the other side. So I'll leave it at that. I'll be back in a bit to continue on. So this part I was just explaining the auto shulker loader and how you can change it. I skipped the whole section. There's no point in showing it unless you want part filled shulkers. You can change the setup on this. I could do another video if you're interested, or if you don't know how. But basically I put another shulker loader in there as well for the gold blocks, which I skipped that section. It's just there's no point in going through that either, because you can just create another one and put it down the bottom like I have there. That's really about it. I'll let this bit play through. You can watch it if you want, or skip through until the testing part. All I'm doing now is just making hopper lines basically between the what do we got? The rotten flesh basically into that, and the other one will be for the gold. Whichever way around I did it. I think this one's rotten flesh by the look of it, and the other one will have the gold blocks going into it. So all you do is create a hopper line into that, and then across the other side. Keep it away from all the redstone torches, or all the hoppers will lock, and you'll be wondering why none of the stuff is going through. So that's basically it. I'll let this run through into a testing part, and then I'll explain how everything's working, and that's pretty much it. So I've had the farm going for a few minutes. You can see that the trident killers aren't going. I I guess I don't know if I turned them on or if I've still got those copper bulbs which I explained earlier, which stopped them from working. So I guess we could be going to look at that shortly, but I'll just keep the video going and I'll come back in a second. Oh no, it looks like I'm about to go down and check. So either I haven't turned it on, or I haven't turned them on at this stage. In our servers we have a teleport XP orbs so that it doesn't lag out the server. So you can do that as well with a command block. There's ways to do that pretty easily. It's just teleport all XP orbs to nearest player. This server doesn't have it, but this is just a test world, just for me to do this tutorial. So basics are, once all the ingots go down, you should see that activate. It'll create ingots, and then it'll create gold blocks. So there should be here we go. So that's slowly creating them. It'll go through, it'll activate, gold block gets pushed through and down into the shulker loader, and yeah, just gradually loads up. So that one there should be having quite a lot go through. There'll just be a constant flow of rotten flesh going to that one. So those shulkers will fill up quite quickly. Probably some of my other builds I actually had it going to chests so that the chests would fill up, because it always or you can put multiple hoppers down into the shulker so that you get multiple flows of items going down. Now I haven't done doesn't look like I've put the lava in there to get rid of the items yet, so they're all just jumping out into the side there. So that has to be filled with lava on each side, don't forget that, which I probably do in a second. Looking like I'm getting ready to do it. Yeah, so that's occasionally with the sorters you get a couple of the items like gold ingots or whatever going through. I'm not too bothered about that. You get enough out of this farm to not need to worry about that too much. There's other sorters, I don't know if they work any better or not, but I always use this one that I've always used. Seems to work okay, but like I said, every now and then you'll get maybe a gold nugget or a gold ingot coming through. Just put lava in there to get rid of everything, and then seal it all up. Basically, you can put glass in front if you want to see what's going on. It's really up to you. It looks like I'm about to do that actually. Yeah, so you can put a glass block there so you can actually see what's going on. If you get too close, you'll pick up the items that get shot out, which is sometimes a bit annoying, but just don't stand too close to it and you'll be fine. Will that work? No. Oh, that's right, I put a yeah, so every time that activates, turns on and off that bulb basically. The redstone lamp would be better, which it looks like I'm about to put in. Yeah, so that'll just activate every time the thing activates. Again, a lava bucket in there to get rid of that. Seal that up with glass block. Doesn't really matter what you close it up with. And I've got two more over here, same thing. All these items are all lagged servers and stuff, so it's best to burn them or put them into a chest if you're going to keep them, but they build up pretty quick, so there's not much point. Right, so that's the last one, I think. Yep, there we go. So that's more or less it, I think. Don't think there's anything else to cover off. Hopefully it all makes sense, and you should be able to work out some of these things yourself if you're familiar with redstone anyway, but this is just a bit of a tutorial I put together for whoever hasn't built a gold farm before, especially with the auto crafters. They're quite handy. I definitely use them in all of these farms now, but it just saves a lot of time later on rather than having to manually sort out items and craft them and turn them into blocks and whatever else. So the auto craft is actually really handy. Same with bamboo farms, all that sort of stuff. You can do the same thing with the autocrafters, so it does actually make it pretty easy. Right, don't think there's too much else to explain. Once that shulker fills up with the rotten flesh, it'll flick that shulker across. It'll end up in the hopper, go down into that chest, and you'll end up with basically a chest full of shulkers of rotten flesh eventually, if you leave it running long enough. You don't have to use a chest there, you can use a barrel so you can actually get into it, whereas I've sort of locked that one. Yeah, well that's it. If there's anything else I'll come back, but otherwise I'll just let the video run through.